Oh my God, we are back with yet another edition of Grindhouse Chic. As always, I am Robert Schneider. I am joined by Matt Armstrong, and back from his injuries from his birthday or anniversary sex night is Brian Baldwin.
Thank you. I've been very dehydrated.
I heard Gatorade is taking an interest in you, but you went with Powerade instead.
Our sugar option's a little better, I think. I like
it. Guys, it's been a while since we've all been together.
No, I've missed you all.
We've missed you too. But since
I gotta go.
What? So halfway to Black, as we're recording this, we're in the final days, the final hours of halfway to Black Friday. And what do you guys think of the releases this year?
Well, first thing, I completely forgot that it was still happening. So thanks for that reminder.
It's happening until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night.
Yeah. That just means I've got to go back now. But I thought the releases looked pretty interesting. I think it was a good lineup. I was kind of hoping once the sale opened, they were going to surprise us with a different case for Showgirls, because that thing is real ugly. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good looking set of films.
Well, I think I noticed someone made a post in the group on Facebook, another slip for Showgirls that apparently was posted and then taken down. He shared the screenshot. I can't remember exactly what was on it, but I think it looked a lot more desirable. Yeah. We should be getting something maybe a little bit more visually appealing.
It looks like a strip bar entrance. It's more roadhousey than the classy Vegas joints.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, the new slipcovers, with the exception of Fanny Hill, look kind of atrocious.
I'm
the
not
Polish ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of interesting looking.
Well, I mean, I think that you're kind of, I don't want to use the term set up for failure, but like the Hell Comes to Frogtown slip, it was such a nice design. You had with the top lifted off and everything. It was gorgeous. I think that one's hard to beat. I mean, of course, it's nice they're giving people another option if they missed out on that, because from what I've been told, or from what I've heard, is that one's kind of one of the pricier ones on the aftermarket.
Well, it is. I mean, you got the slip case and the slip cover, but if I just looked at that and they took Hell Comes to Frogtown away, I would think that's for They Live.
That one didn't have a slip case and cover. It was just the box.
I'd have to go in and look at it again, but
yeah. Regardless, it's a beautiful release, but yeah.
Battle for the Lost Planet, I thought was interesting, and I did order that one accidentally because I didn't think Battle for the Lost Planet came with a slip cover, but when I went into my library room, I realized, fuck, it already had a slip cover.
Yeah.
But which one are you guys most looking forward to?
As far as what did we pick up?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'll preface this by saying I do plan on getting all of the new releases. The VSL, Matt seems to kind of be leading me in the direction of saying I might need to check them out. Just based on what I read about him, it doesn't really seem up my alley, but again, I can be surprised sometimes. But I want to get them all. The only one that I really was excited enough to pull the trigger on immediately, my purchase this year was the smallest thing ever. I got Undefeatable, Cynthia Rothrock, which I've seen before, and I
have too.
And I got the slipcover for Buddies just because I want to support that movie any way I can. So,
hey Brian, I know you're on a new computer. Just kind of talk straight ahead because we kind of lose you when you move to the side.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, the Apocalypse Tetralogy, however you pronounce it. I ordered it, but I was unsure about it. Then I watched the trailers. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I'm most looking forward to from VSA ninja in the claws of the CIA. The world needs more John Liu movies. And Night Screams look great. I can't wait to watch it. And then Blade in the Dark, which I've never seen, looks also phenomenal.
Well, actually, yeah, I totally forgot. I pre-ordered Showgirls and A Blade in the Dark, like whenever the Flash pre-order thing.
That's cool.
I
That's
do
cool.
have those.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to these, and I'm sure some of these might end up in my top of the year collection. I think Brian, you said you spent the less. I think I was in the middle, and I think Matt is still edging closer and closer.
Where are you going with this?
to spending more money on Vinegar Syndrome.
I mean, I was actually, as far as when the sale went live, I had a gift card, so I didn't even pay anything.
And that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. So we're going to be getting a lot of new product is going to come out this summer. And before we start drowning in it, I thought we should take a look at the first half, well, not even the first half, the first 5 months of the year, because there have been a lot of stellar releases. I think this year's proved that physical media is not dead. It's just getting more expensive, and we're getting just some amazing additions out on things.
Absolutely.
And let's start talking about our top 6. Brian Baldwin, why don't you go first?
Sure. You kind of gave introduction there. You kind of gave a good. I'll go ahead and show this one. So, one of my favorite films. We've talked about it to death. Second Sight coming through with the 4K Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Absolutely fucking love it. So this was the restoration of this was shared with what other company?
MPI.
Okay. But that Second Sight did boost to, I know we had discussed this before, Matthew. He said like the audio and stuff they had messed with, or what was it exactly?
Second Sight kind of did their own color grading for the
Okay.
HDR.
Okay. Well, I think it looks phenomenal. And if anyone watching is not familiar with Second Sight, I'm not going to be that guy because this isn't an unboxing, but I mean, you get the releases do not mess around. They're a little hefty in price, but I definitely think you get what you pay for. I mean, the fucking book alone, look at this, it's hardcover book, it's thick as crap. I mean, I can't praise that company enough. So yeah, that is definitely one of my favorites so far.
And it's weird just looking at them. They've released a lot of great stuff. I'm sure I don't own this one because I'm not the biggest fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I like it. My Blu-ray will suffice.
Mm-hmm.
But with their releases have just proved to be superior to any other label in the US and UK. Just the care that goes into it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and not just the packaging. I mean, the restorations and everything look fantastic. But yeah, it doesn't, like I said, you got a little bit of a heftier price on these. But in my opinion, even $60 is pretty reasonable if you're getting a book and like loaded with extras and, lobby cards. Which lobby cards to me, I think it's a nice little addition. But anyway, it's nice little things like that they pack down the releases with. And it makes I'm more than happy to give. Like The Guest, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Guest. The release of that's fantastic.
I have my Blu-ray of it. I bought at Best Buy for like $5.
Gotcha.
Which I like, but I don't see enough reason to upgrade that one either.
Okay.
But no, I mean, look, Second Sight might be a leading contender for label of the year.
Absolutely.
All right, Matt, what is your first pick?
Well, since Brian went there already, I will just follow suit as well. I'm gonna go with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And yeah, kind of just to touch on what Brian was saying, it's MPI released one too, but this one is clearly like, you got the book, same thing with the poster cards. I'll they'll stay wrapped up in this box. I'll never do anything with them, but it's cool that they put them in there. Um, and I do own the MPI one too, and it's you can tell a difference between the two color wise. Um, I don't know if I can talk someone into um the price difference between the two. Um, but I mean, if you have the choice and you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the second sight one is the way to go. And it is a really, it's a thick boy of a book. It's big. um,
That's what she said.
yeah. So yeah, just a good release overall. Um, I don't know. I won't add anything else other than what Brian said, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go in a completely different direction. My number 6 choice is from Fun City Editions, Breathless. Please tell me at least one of you watched it.
I saw it a long time ago. I haven't seen the Fun City one. I saw it on VHS. My mom had a pretty deep Richard Gere obsession.
Well, that is good, but it's weird. Like I saw it too when I was younger. I saw it in high school on VHS because I at that point I was becoming a film snob, and I'm like, well, I might as well see the sequel or the remake. And I thought it was atrocious. I thought it was one of the worst things I had ever seen. How dare you do that? How dare you remake this movie? But then when I watched the Fun City edition, I was like blown away at how colorful it was, how much it felt like a comic book. You can plainly see the influence that it had on Tarantino, especially during the driving scenes, which feel like the driving scenes in Kill Bill. Just a great movie. Richard Gere is fantastic as the lead. The love interest. Valerie Kaprisky. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. They had great chemistry. She was beautiful. And I also like the way it played on the original. In the original, the woman was American visiting France, and the con artist was French. Now the con artist was American, and the woman he was in love with was French. I like the way they changed that, but the colors just popped. The special features were great, and it made watching this edition made me fall in love with a movie that I probably would have ignored if it. Well, I did ignore it when Shout released it,
Mm.
but without this, even if it was without the slip over, you should own this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say you sold me on it. I was not familiar at all. So
Yeah, it's not as good as the original, but it's still a fine movie. It's directed by Jim McBride, who has done a lot of great other things, like The Big Easy, Great Balls of Fire, and several episodes of The Twilight Zone and The Wonder Years.
Did you say that it looked like a comic book?
It felt like a comic book with the way the colors popped.
Hmm.
It also didn't hurt that he was constantly reading the Silver Surfer comic book.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it again. I mean, it was on a VHS and I was a child, so
Yeah, I watched on VHS too, and back then colors did not really pop.
yeah.
All right, Brian, what is your
Nice.
number 5 selection?
okay, so my number 5 is coming from VHS Hit Fest. I don't know if either one of you guys would have ordered this one or not. I know when it comes to SUV films, might not be as much into them as I am. But Justice Ninja Style. Did you guys order it?
Yeah, that one almost
Yep.
made my list.
It's adorable. I mean, it truly is. Now, for anyone watching that might not be into SOV, you kind of have to know the territory you're getting into. It is extremely cheap, but the practical effects are a lot of fun. The acting is just competent enough to not be aggravating. I think that's mostly what makes me lean towards saying it's just adorable. Like, there's this whole part where this dude is explaining to this woman what a ninja is, like, in so much depth. He basically gives an entire history lesson of where the ninja came from and what its purpose is. So basically, the story in this movie is this guy is framed for murder.
By the cops. Don't forget, by the cops.
Yeah, but a ninja,
Not
seems
just
to
any
be there.
ninja, a Missouri ninja.
Yeah, seems to be there anytime he gets in trouble and he's in a pickle. This ninja's there to help him get out of it. So he's basically on the run with a couple of his friends that he has made along the way, and they are trying to prove their innocence while this ninja is helping them get out of sticky situations. Again, I find it to be completely charming. It is adorable, and it's just one of those films you sit there and you watch, it puts a smile on your face. And honestly, for an SOV video, for a shot on video movie, I think it has a tremendous amount of rewatchability. It kind of gives me that like rainy day feeling. If you're like, oh, what should I watch today? Let's pop this on. It's fun. I mean, it's like I said, it's not, you can't look at any of these films and say like, oh man, they're, ever since Schindler's List has there been a film of this quality, but like it has a level of charm that I think is very hard to overlook, and I would recommend.
It might be their best release. 2 discs chock full of extras, which I have not made it through any of them except for the James Earl Jones trailer.
So the cool thing, let me make sure on this too, because I've been watching a lot lately. Yeah, this is the company that's been doing, there's lots of Easter eggs, right?
I did not know that.
Yes, it actually says it right on the back, Easter eggs. So when you're scrolling through your special features menu, be sure to try to highlight everything you can, because there's lots of little hidden stuff they put in there. So
So
interesting.
I'm gonna call out 2 things from the movie. One, I didn't think the acting was that great, but the guy.
Oh, it's not, but it's not. It's certainly far from the worst. Trust me, but here's so much.
I think the 2 corrupt cops were the best characters in there.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a scene in there where they're at like a restaurant talking about it, and then the one guy runs out screaming "Ninja, ninja." I thought, first of all, you can't do that scene today because it's racially insensitive to the hill.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
But I'm gonna say I think this is VHS Hit Fest, VH Shit Fest, or however it's pronounced. I think this might be their best release to date.
I'm actually hard pressed to. I don't know if I own any of their other ones. I'll have to go over some stuff to look and see, but it definitely makes me want to keep my eye out on them a little bit more. Sure.
Last
Did
week
they do Corn Shucker?
They did Corn Shucker, yeah,
That
unfortunately.
really sucked, yeah.
I was watching a movie about VHS collectors. I think it was Rewind This or the other one. But I realized when I looked at the back of it, it was a VH shit fest. Really. Yeah.
Nice.
Matt, what is your number 5 pick?
My number 5 is one that I kind of just watched on a whim. It's one of Vinegar Syndrome's new partner labels, XYZ Films. And it is Hypochondriac. Didn't really know what to expect on this. I thought the slipcover looked cool. The little synopsis sounded interesting, and I popped it in one night and was really surprised by it. It's kind of just the story starts with our main character. He's just a little boy, and his mom is, one of the super paranoid types where she thinks like everyone's out to get her, and um, ends up trying to like kill her son because she thinks he's like plotting against her too, and he's like 12. Um, so his mom ends up getting put into the psych ward, and it cuts to like 18 years later, and he kind of just like tells everyone that his mom is dead. Um, and he's lost contact with her in his mind, but she starts trying to get a hold of him again, and then a bunch of crazy stuff just starts like happening to him, and kind of just around him, and he kind of starts going crazy and kind of showing the same kind of things that his mom was doing, and pretty pretty weird from there on out. But I think it's definitely worth a watch, and it's directed by Addison. I think it's Heyman. It's their first feature length film, and this um released is something that I really like when it is someone's first film and they put all of their previous work on there, which is in this case just a bunch of shorts. There's like 5 shorts that they released before this movie. I watched like 3 of them, and they were pretty good. But yeah, just really enjoyed it. Very, very surprised. It was kind of low budget, but still did some things very well, and it had the best tribute to the movie Ghost that you'll ever see.
Is it using the pottery?
It is.
Okay. Here's the thing: I've never seen Ghost, but I know that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my number 5 pick, from Cauldron Films. Well, actually, not Cauldron, Neon Eagle Films. Kill, Butterfly, Kill. All I got to say is, first of all, they went all out on this one. 2 discs, booklet, 3 different cuts of the movie. On disc 1, you get the IFD Film and Arts cut entitled Kill Butterfly Kill. It is dubbed with some of the worst dubbing I've ever heard, but it makes it so charming. The edits were kind of weird because couldn't figure out who the characters were for the first 15 minutes because there were just some really bad cuts to it. Then also on the first disc, there is the real name of the movie, which from Thailand, called, I should have done my research better.
Is it like Underground Wife?
Underground Wife, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I did not want. I haven't watched that one. But I heard it wasn't as good as the Kill Butterfly Kill version. The Kill Butterfly Kill version is also longer. But the wife one, Underground Wife, is shorter in standard definition. Actually, I started watching it, different theme, and I don't know if it has subtitles on it. I don't know. And then on disc 2, you get the amazing IFD cut of American Commando 6, Kill Butterfly Kill. Godfrey Ho, who was one of the people behind IFD Films and Arts, basically would recut these movies, add European/American actors in there that have nothing to do with the film, and he somehow kind of sort of makes it work. It's not a good movie. I should have watched the original cut first, but it was amusing. It was funny, and definitely not as dark as the original. And you also get a 30 minutes of IFD trailers featuring most of the American Commando movies, which you can find on YouTube to watch. And I might just do that. But Kill Butterfly Kill, it's a rape revenge film. It has some amazing shots in it, and it's bloody and gory, and I wow, it's so freaking good, except for the dubbing. But I actually wouldn't change the dubbing because it makes the whole experience so much better.
Yeah, I got that one in kind of late. I was hoping I would have time to watch it to see if I could add it, but I just didn't have time.
Yeah,
Did they
you.
announce anything else yet? The Neon Eagle?
According to Cauldron's website, they're gonna have a Japanese film later this year.
Okay.
All right, we are on to number 4. Number 4, Brian.
3.
No, we just did 5. We're doing
What?
6. We're doing 6, so we're on to 4.
Well, this is my third pick. So
All right, we're gonna skip you then for this round.
No, your guys are both right. Brian's going starting at 1. Robert
Oh.
is put the top back, flip it and reversing it.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Justice Ninja style, this would be my third.
Yeah.
Yes, or your third pick. Yes, yes. All right.
Although
Go
I do
ahead,
have
Brian.
to give an award. I do have to give an award to Matt for the best way of solving it. Okay. Anyway, this one I was very excited to see get a really. Well, I say one, it's technically 2. I'm going with the Dentist Collection from Vestron. I love these movies. I think they're a tremendous amount of fun. Brian Yuzna, or Yuzna, however you're supposed to pronounce it, is one of my go-tos. And not really a whole lot to say. I'm assuming most people have seen these, but if not, you basically are following a dentist who is having relationship issues with his wife, and he thinks that she's cheating on him, and he basically takes his anger and rage out on the patients at the dentist's office. Have you guys watched these movies?
I've seen the first Dentist probably in the 90s when it came out. I have not revisited it since.
Okay.
I thought Corbin Burnson was great as the dentist. I've never seen
Yeah.
Dentist 2. You know what
He's
always
very unhinged. Gives a very unhinged performance, in the best of ways. Like it is comical, but intentionally. It's definitely a film that goes there.
you know what's weird though, because just years earlier he was like the breakout star of LA Law, and then he was
Oh, really?
down to doing these kind of movies. But I also found that, remember the movie Dr. Giggles?
Mhm.
Another LA Law star was in that as Dr.
Hmm.
Giggles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry for busting on this one.
Oh, no, you're great, man. Again, there's not really a whole lot for me to say about those movies other than I think they're just great fun. I guess to give a nod of approval to Vestron, I love the fact that they're some of the most affordable prices in collecting right now. I don't know if you guys got any of their earlier releases and stuff, but they were actually quite hefty in price, and they haven't dropped in quality, they haven't dropped in content. Just somehow, some way, they've managed to be able to put out movies like, I think that was $17.99.
Mhm.
For a double billing Blu-ray disc. I mean, that's great in my opinion.
I mean, Silent Night with 3, 4, and 5, or 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it at $11.99 at Best Buy last week.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I would definitely recommend. And again, Brian Yuzna, if anyone isn't familiar, you've got great films like Society that he did.
Reanimator.
Yeah, I mean, it does a lot of like awesome practical effects, lots of body horror sometimes, and it's fantastic. So yeah.
Yeah, I might have to pick that up if I see it in a store somewhere.
Sure.
All right, Matt, what is
Nice.
your third pick?
I went with one that I really, really liked this year, and whoa, I wanted to get a I wanted to get a Vinegar Syndrome movie on here. So I went with Frostbiter. Not often that I get a movie and I watch it multiple times, in general, but this one I've watched I think 4 times since I got it. I think this one came out in February, March, something early.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
great this year.
I think it was January.
January maybe, yeah. But Yeah, I won't talk a ton about it since we did an episode already. Um, I'll put like a watch it here. I'll put a link up there. um, but yeah, it's just such a weird kind of, you know, obviously Raimi-esque that we talked about, but just a weird, fun movie to sit around and watch with people. And I've showed it to two different people so far. And I just always find myself wanting to watch it. Um,
It-
Go ahead.
I mean, it's a really good film
Mhm.
and packed with extras.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go through all of them, and I was just reading them um, while Brian was finishing up there, and I didn't know that there were all of these interviews on here, so I'll have to revisit that. But yeah, Frostbiter, check it out.
All right. I think we all have. I think all of us have
Yeah.
checked it out. All right. My next pick had been one of my most anticipated titles of the year since it was announced. From Severin, it's the comic strip presents. Um, yeah, it's just amazing. I've watched almost all the episodes. I still have a few to watch. A couple that I've already seen back when it was syndicated on MTV, and that I had in the old box set, and then some I never got to on the other box set. But I watched one of the documentaries. It's Do the episodes look great? No, I mean they're just transferred from video, so they worked with what they could. But it sounds great. They're Most of them are funny. Some just don't work anymore. But I think the best one was one I had never seen. It was called Mr. Jolly Lives Next Door. It's directed by Stephen Frears, who was directing Dangerous Liaisons, either prepping for it right before or right after this movie or this film. It involves it's written by Ade Edmondson, Rick Mayall, and one other person, and it involves these two guys who are drunken owners of a thing called Dreamy Time Escorts, the Dreamy Time Escort Agency. For them, escort means something different. They escort people around the city, taking their money and getting drunk. Mr. Jolly, played by the great legendary actor Peter Cook, plays a hired contract killer named Mr. Jolly, who, when he murders people in his toy office right next door to the escort agency, he always plays Tom Jones music, and you just see blood splatter along the wall. Um, it's just hilarious. I was laughing my ass off. Then another one I was in series 2 is called Eddie Monsoon of Life, starring Adrian Edmondson as this horrible entertainer as they're making a documentary about him. And it was interesting. And I watched one of the documentaries. Um, it was okay. It felt like it was only half a documentary. It was called The Rise of the comic strip, which makes me think they're going to release all the other episodes and do a documentary called The Fall of the Comic Strip. But if you like British comedy, if you like movie spoofs, you get plenty of them. Again, some of them, if you were raised in America, you wouldn't know anything about, like the Famous Five episodes, or a spoof of a British book series called The Famous Five. And the only way I knew about that was my dad would always go to England for business, and he would bring me back books and comic books. So
Nice.
yeah, but good job to Severin, and I think later this year we're going to see a lot more Severin stuff on my best of the year list.
Nice.
All right, Brian, number 4.
Yeah. All right, so this is one that I had never seen, and this is coming from Arrow, new 4K of Naked Lunch, David Cronenberg film. It's got Peter Weller, who played RoboCop. It's also got Roy Scheider, Keith Brody from Jaws, and I will never ever look at him the same again after watching this movie. Have you guys seen it?
Oh yeah, I saw it in the theater when it came out.
What a mind fuck of a film that I will 100% admit that I think this one will take me a couple of watches to fully understand what it was they were trying to get across. It's very how's the way to there's a lot of gay theme in it, and characters are getting their high off of sucking jism out of aliens' heads. And I think the part that really threw me for a loop, I'm just gonna go ahead and address it, is there is a heavy um, gay theme to it, but I don't fully understand what the purpose of it was. Maybe we need to discuss this one on an episode one day because
So I'm just gonna say I need to rewatch this one. I had the Criterion Blu-ray of it.
okay.
But I remember watching this, and then I went to Borders Books immediately afterward and bought the William Burroughs novel of Naked Lunch.
Oh yeah, I meant to mention that too. It's based on okay.
It's kind of sort of based on a novel.
Okay.
Kind of sort of.
All right. It's definitely interesting. And as far as the release itself, the restoration is flipping gorgeous. You guys know that I pick up a lot of 4Ks now, but some of them, I'll admittedly, I'm just like, not that great. This is one that I would say looks absolutely phenomenal. Arrow, they tend to always deliver on the special features. I haven't got to go through them all, but it is loaded down. This one also comes with a poster and a nice book in there. Big thick book again. Yeah, so if you're a fan of Cronenberg, which I am, again, I was kind of surprised I'd never seen it. It was kind of funny, actually. My friend had messaged me and was like, just randomly, he was talking about films. And he's like, "Have you ever seen Naked Lunch?" I was like, "I've never even heard of it." And Cronenberg used to give me the lowdown, and I went to Grindhouse the very next day and seen that this had been released. It was on like their new release shelf, and I was like, "Well, that's great timing." So, if you're into beautiful filmmaking, it feels kind of it's set in 53, if I remember correctly, and it very much has like a beat feeling, like a beat writer feeling to it. Your main character is a writer, and it all revolves around these people finding the typewriter that connects with them best. And it's a weird one. Let's do an episode on this sometime. Yeah. Either way, for those people watching, I highly recommend it. Pick it up. Whenever we do a video on it, you can comment.
We need comments first. Hold on. Sorry, Naked Lunch. So I have a feeling. Hold on. Why am I? That some of the people he hangs out with. No, I was wrong. For some reason, I thought the people he hung out with were real writers.
Oh, okay.
Or based on them, but they weren't. But I mean, while Burroughs was, I don't know if Burroughs was considered a beat writer, but he was in that generation.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was just more the weird.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest. I don't have that much knowledge of Burroughs, except for this movie and the book I picked up that frustrated me greatly.
Well, I'll definitely have to read the book. I mean, as interesting of a movie as this is, I would like to see, even though you said it's loosely, I'd like to see where it came from.
Definitely.
There might be some answers for me within those pages.
I need to rewatch it, and definitely maybe in some point this summer we'll talk about it.
Cool.
But Matt, what is your fourth pick?
My fourth pick, I went with the written, edited, and directed by George A. Romero. I went with Second Sight's Martin. Martin. I saw this when I was a kid, and I remember it was back then. I always thought it was, I don't know, kind of boring. I guess it wasn't like the monster movie I was hoping for, but I haven't seen it since. And when I got this and watched it, it was such like a just like disturbing, like creepy, and definitely has a different kind of tone when you're an adult. Um, but for those who haven't seen it, it's the story of Martin who kind of goes around and sedates women with a syringe so he can um kind of just slice their wrists open and drink their blood.
Was
Um,
he or was he not a vampire?
yeah, that's the question, and I think it's I think that's kind of one of the cool things about it, where it's it's essentially just this creepy kid doing creepy things, and there's kind of trying to tack on the supernatural element, and yeah, it makes you wonder, is he or isn't he? um what do you think? Do you think he is?
There was something his uncle or cousin said
His uncle, yeah.
that there it has been a curse on the family.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know if he's just as delusional as Martin is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's one that I kind of just watched it this first time just to watch it again. I think it would be a good one to watch and actually try and pick up on things and pay attention to them. But um, kind of let me see if I can get it out of here. Kind of the same deal with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. This one comes with um, not quite as thick boy as a book, but it's pretty lightly girthy, and then some more poster cards. And I don't think there are any other releases of this, are there? So it's, I mean,
There
this is pretty
was
much the
there
one.
was a DVD of it. I believe it was through Anchor Bay that looked like shit.
Yeah.
I have that
So
somewhere in my collection.
if you want a good one, I think this is your only option. So you're
So
stuck with this price.
I'm going to say Martin is also my number 4,
Nice.
and I absolutely loved it. It looked beautiful. I felt like it was probably one of Romero's more interesting films.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one scene that got me where he's walking through downtown Pittsburgh and he's passing a hot dog restaurant. And when I lived there, that place was still open. I ate there.
Oh, nice.
But no, I thought it was a really good movie. I wouldn't say it's scary, but there were some moments of really high tension, especially when he murdered that woman on the train.
Yeah.
And I just and like it also was very. I also love the way he got more and more depraved as the film went on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought that the visions that he was having were cool, and yeah, I don't know. It's just it's an interesting movie, especially if you're trying to look into it to see what was really going on, I think.
I agree. Now we have to wait for the 2.5 hour Romero cut that's going to be coming out soon.
I did
They,
see that there's like a new hour-long documentary on there that I want to check out. Did you watch that?
I started to, but was tired.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm taking it you did not pick this one up.
No, I'm actually really glad someone had it on their list. I did skip on it. It's one that I literally teeter on every time I'm at Grindhouse. And to answer something for you, they do have the deluxe edition that Matt has, and they do also have a standard, without the box and everything.
Get the deluxe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend. I mean, speaking on second sight again, like when we were at Grindhouse today, there's a movie, Picnic at Hanging Rock. I've never seen, but my wife watched it and she wanted to pick it up, and she was like, "Oh, the deluxe edition's too pricey. Let's just get the standard." I'm like, "Fuck no! If we're gonna do this, let's get the." And it was such a great release. And to praise this company again, she was doing some research. She's like, "Oh, there's a book on it." She's like, "I need to get the book." The fucking release came with the book. We got home and opened it up, and she's like, "Holy shit, it's in there." I mean, I again, you're paying a little bit more for those releases, but you keep putting that much detail and love and extra goodies into it. I'll give you the money any day of the week. But back on Martin, I'm very glad it got mentioned because that you guys have sold me on it that I need to watch it. I admittedly never even read a plot for it, synopsis. I didn't know anything about it. So yeah, you guys have definitely steered me in that direction. So thank
Matt,
you.
Matt, what number are we at now?
5.
Yep.
All right,
We're breezing
Brian,
through this.
take us away.
All right. I'm going to take us away to a land of fantasy, martial arts, and asthma. Sidekicks. Speaking of things that I'm teetering on, I kept telling myself, I'm like, I loved sidekicks when I was a kid. I don't need a magnetic box and a book and all that for sidekicks. I mean, I might watch it once and be done with it. I'm so glad I went for the VSU of it. VSU, right? Yes, VSU
Yep.
number 5. Not only was I absolutely just enamored and in love with a rewatch of this movie, I had so much fucking fun with it. But again, if anyone doesn't know about Vinegar Syndrome or what they put in their packaging, it is really nice. Got your little magnetic box. You got a slip case inside of a box and a book, and just it's great. Awesome special features. I had no idea that Chuck Norris's brother is who made this movie. I mean, of course, when I was watching it as a kid, I couldn't really care less about that sort of shit. But yeah, it's great. Did you guys get this one, or have you ever seen it? I'm assuming.
I've gotten it. I have not watched it yet.
Okay.
But I have seen it before.
Yeah.
Same.
Nice. Boy, Joe Piscopo, Jonathan Brandis, Chuck Norris. It's fantastic. It always makes me sad being reminded of Jonathan Brandis. That's a terrible way that he went out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great movie.
I have to tell you that the the box, I thought it really was Hugh Jackman that was in. I forgot it was Joe Piscopo.
Boy, were you disappointed.
Yeah.
Would you say this is Joe Piscopo's second best movie from Vinegar Syndrome?
Look, I don't think he's a good actor.
Oh yeah. Oh man, he's well. I hate to use the same term twice in one video, but I mean, totally unhinged.
Yeah, he's
Like,
unhinged.
you can just smell the fucking cocaine off the set. And if he wasn't hopped up on something, then even more kudos to
Yeah,
him.
he was hopped up on roids.
Okay.
I mean, I think Piscopo made one good movie in his career, and that was Johnny Dangerously.
Okay.
But
Well, if anyone watching hasn't watched Sidekicks, it follows Jonathan Brandis. He's a kid. He's got asthma. He's in high school. He's obsessed with Chuck Norris. He's his hero. He carries magazines around with him all the time about him. And he basically finds himself in these moments where he's daydreaming to his own detriment. Like he'll be in the middle of class and having these daydreams about him and Chuck Norris, like in the jungles fighting people, or, you know, in all these different kind of scenarios. And he's definitely a loner in school. This also has Danica McKellar, I think is her. Danica Keller.
yeah, from the Wonder Years.
Wonder Years, yeah. So he's all obsessed with her, and anyway, he ends up being taught karate from one of his teachers at school. Her dad runs a restaurant and kind of takes him on, teaches him how to do all this stuff, and he finds himself sort of in, like, you know, this big competition at the end. And it's a tremendous amount of fun. It is very childlike. There, you know, the fantasy segments are, they definitely make you feel like a kid again. There's lots of, you know, boings and noises and shit as people are flipping around and everything. And again, Joe Piscopo is extremely animated in this movie.
Was this, in your mind, would you consider this a Karate Kid ripoff?
I mean, not a rip off. I mean,
nerdy
No.
kid taken under a master's wing, ends up
Yeah,
in
but this is
karate
very,
competition.
very different, though. I mean, I guess I get your point. You know, it may have been influenced, obviously, by the story, but it definitely took its own
No,
way.
I'm not. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Johnny didn't fantasize about Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder. I wonder how hard they tried. Chuck, you're going to play yourself in this movie. You're going to be a hero to kids. All right, I'm in.
Well, again, his brother in one of the interviews with his brother, he's discussing how he sort of wrote it with Chuck. Like he presented it to him like, this is kind of what I'm thinking, and they kind of polished up the script together.
I will. I was planning on watching it today or tomorrow, but obviously it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
Matt. What is your second to last pick?
My second to last pick is I feel like it's probably going to be on your list as well, but I went with from Cauldron, City of the Living Dead. Ooh, the blood from the eyes looks kind of cool there.
It is gorgeous.
So you finally watched it?
I did. I gotta say, like, it looked beautiful. The special effects, some of the best, and some of the most disgusting I have ever seen. I will say, not a great zombie movie.
We'll get to that when
Yeah.
I talk about it.
But yeah, I think it's. I
Sorry,
do think it's
we'll get to
a.
that when I talk about it.
Um,
Guys, I am so sorry. You're going to have to excuse me for just a minute.
yeah. Um, I know I was ragging on it for when I got it. I was like, why do companies include CD soundtracks for these things? I'm never going to listen to it. But man, hearing the music in this movie, I think I'll probably put that one on a couple times.
It's a great soundtrack.
Yeah. But yeah, the movie looked gorgeous. And it kind of turned me on a little more to Cauldron because I don't have a ton from them, but I mean, if this is the kind of quality stuff they're putting out, then I'm gonna have to look into them a little more.
They went all out on this release.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they went to the moon, baby, to the moon. I mean, they did something special for their first 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And it was worth the wait, and them also delaying the movies that were coming after it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I can't wait to see what their next 4K is.
Yeah.
So what made you finally watch it?
Well, I kind of had this one and the other one. I got Hell of the Living Dead, and I was trying to decide between the two. And I kind of just chose this one. So I don't know if the other one is any good or not, but I'm glad I did. I mean, it was a good movie. It just just the zombie aspect of it was kind of weird. Really had I don't want to get too far into it, but it really had no story.
Have you seen the other two movies in the series?
I think I saw The Beyond on one of those like 100 horror DVD packs, so it looked like garbage, but I don't think I saw the other one. Is that Gate of
No, this one's also Gates of Hell.
Okay.
It's House by the Cemetery.
Right, yeah. I did not see that one.
Okay. All right. My number 2 was something I picked up on a lark last week. From 88 films in the line of duty 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Noise.
So I'm gonna tell you what drives me crazy about the set is that there is no continuity between the films. In the first one, Michelle Yeoh plays a completely different character than she does in the second one. Same thing with 3 and 4. Michelle Khan, not Michelle Khan, Cindy Khan plays a very different character in 3 than she does in 4. Other thing that I think they're going by the British releases on this. So the first one, the series Royal Warriors, is the second one filmed. Yes Ma'am, which is the second one in the series with Cynthia Rothrock, is technically the first one. And then 3 and 4, it doesn't matter, but these are action-packed films. There's comedy in them. There's no romance, but women have mullets like Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Khan do. But I think my favorite ones are 1 and 4, and then 2 and 3 are kind of tied. They aren't the best ones, but compared to a lot of other movies, they're really, really good. What's funny is part of the 4th one is filmed in Seattle, and I walked in the area where they filmed it, which is by the market right on the water, and I had no idea that I stood on the same place that Cynthia Khan did and had a kung fu fight.
Was yours better than hers?
Mike, I didn't have a kung fu fight.
Oh, you should have.
I was just there walking along when I first moved there. Also, there was a Swenson's there when they filmed it, and when I lived there wasn't a Swenson's.
A Swenson's back then?
Yeah, it was
I thought that was like a Midwest thing.
no, there was a thing called Swenson's ice cream, which was West
Oh.
Coast, and then we had some in Michigan.
Not the Swenson's hamburgers.
No.
Oh,
All right.
nice.
We are at our number 1 of the year so far. Brian, what is yours?
All right. The mine. This was one that I also was super apprehensive, and I'm obviously glad I picked it up because it made my list. This is from Arrow. It's from 1999, which is one of the reasons I was apprehensive about it. I was like, I don't know if I'm in the mood for a slasher film from 1999 right now. Fuck it, let's give it a go. Lover's Lane. Did either one of you guys pick this one up?
I did not know.
It is so fantastic. And I really do mean that. It's if you basically take a little bit of Scream, a little bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and a little bit of The Mutilator and put it in 99 with an extremely, well, I wouldn't say extremely low budget, but fairly low budget. It's actually a really great slasher film. It's got a lot of stuff. It didn't feel forced in its way that it reminded you of an earlier slasher film, but with those newer elements of like I Know What You Did Last Summer and stuff. It's basically you have a man who's in an asylum for going on a murder spree on Valentine's Day, and fast forward however many years, and he escapes. And local authorities find out he's escaped, and they're trying to tell all the local kids who kind of tend to go to this like one spot, like a makeout spot on Valentine's Day, like, this guy's loose, you don't want to go up there. And it does a great job of like intertwining, like, oh, well, this cop's wife was murdered up there years ago who was in love with this other character's dad. And, like, that's kind of where the family aspect of Scream and stuff sort of plays into it. I'm, of course, not going to reveal who the killer is. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. If you want a slasher movie and a damn good one. I had no idea about this one. I had never heard of it. It was great fun. Of course, with the release itself. I mean, I'm always going to say the same thing about Arrow. I think they do a pretty good job on their transfers. I think they are they're pretty hard to beat, I think, with a lot of their special features. So you're definitely not skimping. They're not skimping on this release as well with that.
What made you pick this one up?
The premise. I wanted to watch a slasher film, and I kept talking to a couple of guys there at Grindhouse, and I was like, I will admit, I don't know if I've talked to you guys about it on any of our chats, especially since I've been so busy lately. I haven't been here to do them, but I do want to. Well, yeah, I feel like I was getting burned by Arrow a lot with the random pickups that I would make, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do it again. You know, it's not like they're terribly expensive, but about $28, you know, for one of theirs nowadays, and I'm damn glad I went for it. I would highly recommend it. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, Matt, what is your number one pick?
My number one, I went with the most expensive thing that I've bought this year. I am going with Magic, Myth, and Mutilation. I'm about halfway through this box, and it has definitely been a journey so far. But a good journey. I will say that for anyone who does pick this up, by the way, these are the films of Michael J. Murphy. If anyone has ever heard of him, I never did. The first, I'd say maybe disc and a half, pretty tough to get through. A lot of them are films that were never completed, and they kind of piece together like 16 millimeter film that they found, and then for everything missing, they were able to piece together like VHS recordings that they found in his home that he was like screening in his house. And apparently, in a lot of them, he had recorded over the audio. So Indicator kind of just had to go through and kind of just put some music just to go through some scenes in the movie. They would have to put up black screens with words to kind of explain the story that's missing. And even those movies were still interesting, but I'm about almost halfway through it now, and I'm starting to get into his horror stuff, and the horror stuff is getting really, really good so far. It's just kind of like I picked this one up because um, last year my pick of the year was um, the Severance set. God,
Steckler?
What was that?
Steckler.
Steckler. Yeah, I was blanking on his name. I picked that up last year. It was my pick of the year. Same thing. Never heard of him. Had never seen any of his movies, and just loved everything that I saw. So I was hoping for the same thing for this one. And while it hasn't been as strong of a start as Steckler was, I'm really, really starting to get into some of these films, and it's kind of the same story. It kind of sucks that from what I've seen so far, this guy was working with such little money, because I mean, it seemed like some of the ideas that he had, and um, he's really good at what I've seen so far of just like two people just having a conversation. It just seems very natural, very easy to follow along with. Doesn't seem forced or staged or anything. It just seems like you're just watching two people have a real convo, and that seems like something that he was pretty strong with. But
Now,
yeah,
I don't think I remember hearing on a podcast, but I don't think any of his movies got theatrical distribution.
I don't know if they did. I don't know. I mean, especially any of the first ones, because they just weren't done. I know there was one that I was watching that had two different versions of it. One was like, and it was actually my favorite one so far, called Invitation to Hell. But it had two different versions. One was like the original one, and then one that the producers of some film festival were given a list of instructions from Murphy saying, like, if you're going to screen this, I want you to do this and this and this, apparently. And they put it in the movie to film it. And it was stuff as simple as like adding like red special effects to eyeballs and stuff. So it's just must have been stuff he didn't have money to do at the time. But yeah, I don't know if anything got into the theater or not. A lot of them are very short. So would you have to be 80 something to be considered theatrical feature?
No, I mean, depends on the year, but there's 70-minute movies that are considered theatrical features back then.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I saw this set. I'll admit I wasn't interested
Hmm.
because and I've heard wonderful things about it, but I couldn't justify the price because I know there would be more things during the year
Yeah.
I would buy. And technically, this was supposed to come out last year, but it didn't.
Yeah, and I can see people. I had read a lot of people saying that it was just super boring and not worth the money, and I can see that from the first, definitely like the first disc, I would say. But um, once he starts getting into it, seems like he's maybe getting a little more money and getting a little better at what he's doing. I think that they start to get pretty good.
No, that's cool.
I'm excited to see. So they kind of start off kind of like old, um, just like retellings of old stories, and he kind of makes them like kind of fantastical, kind of dreamy, and then I think that he goes into horror, and then I think he goes into fantasy after that, and then I think his last kind of run was kind of like I don't know, kind of like skeezy or like thrillers, I guess. So kind of interested to see the evolution here.
How many discs is it?
It is 5.
That's crazy.
How many
There
films?
are 28 movies
Woo,
on it.
good job. I mean, even if some of them are like when you're saying super short, are you referring to like actual
There's
like
a
short films
there's a
or
lot that are um under 20. There's been a big bulk that have been in between like 45 and 50, and then I think 2 of them were like 90 something, so
that
pretty
sounds
pretty digestible.
yeah, getting a lot of content too. I mean, what
Yeah.
was the price point on that?
Was I think it was 120?
Okay. I remember when it was being announced and I was super interested in it. I just didn't have the funds at the time.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I'd like to maybe scoop up later.
Yeah, it's pretty cool so far. You just it's kind of like when you're trying to explain to someone your favorite show and they're like, "Oh, I watched the first couple episodes, I couldn't get into it," and you got to tell them like, "You just got to get past that first season."
Yeah.
Oh,
This
hold
is
on.
kind of
Matt,
this is
Matt,
kind
Matt. You were explaining your favorite show to me the other day, and you did
which
not skip on the plot.
which one?
A dad was raising his 3 daughters, and his best friends Joey and Jesse move in, and hilarity ensues. You had no
How
problem explaining
rude.
that to me.
Yeah, but that's an instant classic.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Really Full House.
So I saw a post the other day about this. I don't know if it was a website or some news thing that put it out, but it was a list of the 10 best TV dads, and Danny Tanner was number 1.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he seemed pretty understanding.
All right. I wouldn't say he'd be the best.
Yeah.
He let his wife die. We don't know under what circumstances. What we know is it's a family curse because his daughter in the spinoff Fuller House, her husband died.
It's the house. There were a lot missing on the list, and the thing that I found to be the funniest about it was number 10 was Al Bundy, and he like hated his entire family.
Yeah, he was the modern dad. All right. Before we get to my number 1 pick, I have 2 that didn't make the list. The first one was from MVD, The Last American Virgin, which is one of my favorite teen sexploitation films from the 80s. This looked much better than the Olive release, And unlike the olive release or the DVDs that came before it, it had special features, which I believe were ported over from the Arrow one or somewhere else in the world. And just because none of the new content was original, I didn't feel it could make the top list. But I wanted to call that one out. The other one is what I have not finished watching from Severin, the Violent Streets collection of Lenzi and Milione. I've watched the first 3 movies, and they're just great Euro trash police movies, and lots of shooting, lots of violence. And at some point, I need to finish that off. But my number one pick from Cauldron, City of the Living Dead. This was my least favorite in the series. I think I have the DVD of it, and then I had the Blue Underground release on Blu-ray. This one blew it away. The colors popped, the gore was there. And yes, there were zombies, but I think they were a different kind of zombie than Romero zombies.
Yeah.
But I thought a priest kills himself in a cemetery and the gates of hell open. And then you have the dude from Pieces, whose name I can't remember, is from Detroit, George.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
You can't go to your magic Google machine and figure this one out.
I got City. Christopher George.
Christopher George from Michigan. When the psychic woman goes dead, and then he realizes she's alive and takes the axe pick to the coffin in the cemetery. Might possibly one of the greatest scenes there. Also, when you have the 2 cemetery workers, one of them was played by a golden age porn actor whose name I can't remember. But I mean, I thought at the end where everything is literally going to hell, the tension is so ramped up, and you don't know if anyone's going to survive. And then you have that final scene, which is the kids running to the woman, and then she starts screaming. It's a kind of like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers ending. And you want to know what happens next. But I think great special features. The commentary track on there was really insightful. It has some older archival stuff, but yeah, I mean, Cauldron outdid themselves with this one. It was just a beautiful release. It was like the first time I'd ever seen this movie. And in this trilogy, the Gates of Hell trilogy, it was always my bottom, but it has now moved to number 1, to Beyond second, and House by the Cemetery third. So again, I can't wait to see Cauldron do more 4Ks, but they've been on a roll. And
Plus, you get stickers.
You get stickers. You get stickers. All right. Brian, what is your label of the year so far?
Well, I was hoping that my fine folks over at Visual Vengeance would have continued to put out more stuff. I don't know what happened to them, and I'm getting nervous.
I know they had trailers for stuff that I saw a new trailer of it on YouTube about a movie theater.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry, you got a video store, you mean, or
a movie trailer? It was a theater where I think they started killing everybody. So I saw that. I know they're going to be releasing that at some point.
Yeah, there was a trailer for one with Rudy Raymore in it that hasn't came around yet. I mean, I'm getting worried because it's been a hot minute now. I mean, these labels, you got to put out stuff semi-consistently to keep your name in the game.
Yeah, but they have a parent. They have a parent company behind them. Their Wild Eye is still
Wild
releasing.
Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I feel kind of unfair saying it, but I guess looking forward to more releases from this company that I have just been blown away with so far. Um, I'm going to have to go with Second Sight. I think they're really forcing other labels to really think about ways to up their game. I mean, I don't know how on earth that company honestly is able to afford to give as much content even at the price point that they are. I mean, if you think like generally a regular pretty loaded down Blu-ray disc, we're talking about what, $28-$30 nowadays. I mean, yeah, double the price, but you're getting so much shit, and I just so yeah, I'm gonna go with Second Sight.
Do you think they're going to start an American Arm anytime soon?
Start a what? I'm sorry.
An American Arm. Like this year, we've seen 88. Well, last year we saw 88 films come in. Eureka's coming into this market.
Mhm.
It's only a matter of time. And I mean, Radiance is here as well.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good thought, but I also I mean, God, I wish I had in. I don't know if y'all ordered, but I ordered Razorback and Kids from Umbrella, and I am super excited to see the links they're going to with their new designs and package.
Yeah, I got to order Kids.
Yeah. Um, but the reason I was saying I don't know if it's fair to pick Second Sight is it's not like, I've bought more Vinegar Syndrome titles this year than I have Second Sight, but I would still say that, if someone was like, "Oh, what's the best release you've received this year in terms of content all around?" And I would definitely say Texas Chainsaw Massacre would take that. So
That's fair, but I mean, I think if you buy one thing and are excited about other releases they have, and you bought more stuff in the past, but
yeah.
I mean, their release of Dawn of the Dead was the reason I got a 4K TV.
Hmm.
So glad I did. All right, Matt, what is your label of the year so far?
Um, I was kind of going back and forth. Um, but I think I also landed on Second Sight. And it may just be just for the fact that this is really the first year that I've kind of bought releases from them. I do have the release of, which I don't even remember how I got it, but I have the release of The Guest from them. But I've never watched it or even looked at it, so I wasn't really aware of
What?
I wasn't really aware of what kind of releases they put out, but just from Martin and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I can see, what they do with their releases. Um, so yeah, from what I've purchased, that's probably going to be my best. I think the one I was kind of going back and forth on, but I kind of think that it's just one that I'm probably the most excited about is Terror Vision. I'm really excited to see what they do and how they grow and what these 50 films end up being that they release little hints for. And
I love
I
that you
don't
mentioned them too, because it's fair to discuss them a little bit more in depth for viewers, because the fact that you can pretty much hop onto a subscription within at any given point,
mhm.
I think is phenomenal. That
Yeah.
is that's a great strategy. That's a good tactic, in my opinion. Don't make it like it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't feel like as rushed and hurried and frenzied as like something like trying to get the Vinegar Syndrome, you
Mhm.
membership. It just feels cool. It feels like a really cool. And I hopefully one day we'll be able to hop on there and do it.
Well,
Mhm.
I mean, you have so many more tiers now. The
Yeah.
50 films for 1,000,
Mhm.
which I couldn't do because so I think the Linnea Quigley horror workout video was a gateway for a lot of people into TerrorVision.
Mhm.
Because I feel a feeling they lost some of their audience when they stopped being on the Vinegar Syndrome partner label list.
Mm-hmm.
And that one sold like hotcakes. It's taken Santa Claus so long to get to the point where it is only at I think 57 now, or last time.
You bought that one, didn't you?
I did not.
I did. I've got everything from them so far.
Is that, have you watched that release, Santa Claus?
I have not.
That's another one that I keep. They have it on the shelf at Grindhouse, and I'm like, I should get it while it's here. And I just keep passing it up. But
Again, for me, TerrorVision has been very hit or miss. I don't think anything in this next round is going to sell out for a while. None of them looked interesting to me except for the one SOV film from the guy who did Video Violence.
Mm.
And then as I was going through it, it's like, okay, I don't want a 2020 shot on video movie. I want more. I want more 80s slashers. And I know they're doing a label where they don't want you to collect everything. They're just curating stuff they would like to see released.
Mm-hmm.
But
Get My Gun, is that the one you're talking about, Robert?
which one?
Get My Gun.
No.
Okay.
I get my gun was made like 2 years ago.
Uh,
And I kind of regret ordering it.
Supposedly really great. I mean, you know, that's what made me scoop it up. I kept hearing so much, well, seeing so much stuff online of people praising it. I was
I'll watch it eventually, but I mean, I was more excited about the Leanna Quigley video, and I can tell you there's a reason it's not. While I enjoyed it, there's a reason why it's not anywhere close to the top.
Mm-hmm.
what, the workout video?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I always hate saying this, but I do have a bootleg of it. I honestly, I think I'll pass on the Blu-ray upgrade. I mean, I watched it once and I was like, I've seen it. It's cool. I get the appeal, but I don't have to have it.
yeah. But it sounded interesting when they talked about it, so I said I would buy that from them. And don't get me wrong, it was a great release, but I feel with TerrorVision, they're trying to do something for everybody, and for me, that's not working.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just excited to see what they're going to put out. I like that the list is kind of, it's not nailed down to one certain kind of genre.
Mm,
well, let's hope they last.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So hold on. So your pick was Second Sight for label
Yep.
of the year so far.
Yep.
Mine's Cauldron.
Nice.
I mean, this year they've had 3 really good releases, all of them delayed, which sucked. And their next wave is just of Italian schlock that also looks good. Um, Normally I would have probably said Severin, but I think this year they've released a ton of great films, and then a lot of bad ones as well, like Aliens from the Abyss. It was so terrible. But Extraterrestrial Visitors was hilarious. And yeah, and then next month the half year sale, and Black Emmanuel,
Mm-hmm.
which I am really looking forward to.
That was such a weird one with me because, um, you know, anytime I pick one up, it generally sits around for a little bit. But every time I watch one, I'm like, God damn, like I'm hard pressed to tell you any Severin film on my shelf right now that I don't like absolutely love. But I don't know what it is. I see some of the releases, I just can't make myself buy them. Nothing I'm saying makes sense. I'm sorry. I just
No,
think to
no.
myself, like, why don't I buy more of their stuff? Because every time I do watch one, I'm like, fuck, that's amazing. I love it.
But they're also a label where you don't have to buy everything.
Yeah.
Like the Peter Greenway film that just came out. I have no interest in that. So I don't need it. I'm very interested with again what they're doing for their Black Friday, their halfway sale. From what I've gathered, they are doing more films directed from the guy from Pieces.
Oh, Juan Piquer Simone.
Yeah.
Woo, take my money, son.
And then they have the clones of Bruce Lee set that's going to come out at some point this year.
I'll definitely be in for that one.
Yeah, hopefully it's not expensive as a Black Emmanuel. That one hurt. That one hurt.
But at least with that, you know what you're getting.
Yep. A lot of sleaze. A lot of nudity. And a lot of Laura Gessmer.
So much.
So much Laura Gessmer. All right. Well, that does it for this week's episode. What movie should we talk about next week?
Oof. Man, we probably won't have our things in yet, our shipments.
Nope.
No,
I
none
would
of
love to
those.
make a suggestion.
Let's hear it.
Well, Brian, do you have 5 women for the killer?
Nope. I literally had it in my hand to buy today and I didn't get it. That's the only one actually that I'm missing now, except for the third VSL. I haven't got that one yet.
I can plex it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's do 5 women for the killer. Let me tell you,
Perfect.
that's 1 woman. 2 women. 3 women.
Oh, well, we're doing it all.
4 women.
This is generally where he gets confused.
And 5 women.
I did.
For the killer.
Are these? Is this an Italian film or is it?
Oh, it's an Italian film. It has everything you want in an Italian film. It has boobs, murder, twists and turns. And I'm just going to spoil it. The killer wears racing gloves.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got to. You're going to go through five women.
What?
All right. That sounds
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that again.
Hell yeah.
All right. If you like this episode, please hit subscribe. Please share. Please comment. We know you're watching it. We've been studying analytics all week long. So, yeah, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
See you guys.